just really happy to be off work. Like for today, I was wondering, I was like, shit, like how much energy am I going to have for this podcast? And like, how good is it going to be with like how much I've been working? My brain has just been so focused on work that, I haven't really had a lot else going through my mind in order to have a lot else to share on the podcast. And I don't know if I've had to deal with that type of issue since I started podcasting, where my mind has been like so focused that I haven't been able to think like about my own thoughts. Now, I remember having that feeling with being a student where it was like I haven't had any time for my own thoughts, like aside from like studying and like all the things that I need to get done and the timelines and when stuff has to be done. And so it can be kind of hard. And I was just thinking, man, people who get to podcast full time and it's like their real job, I can see why they'd have a really good podcast. Because like you have all that free time to like explore and plan and, like just be yourself and like keep growing. And I'm not saying that I don't grow while like investing myself in work, but sometimes I feel like I don't have as much like personal and emotional growth. Like I don't get to think about myself as much, and I am just grateful for the things that continue to work without me having to tend to them while I am this busy. It's been a
Right.
lot. Welcome to this week's episode of
Yeah.
American Groove.
We're calling it manic depressive, but
I'm not really depressed. I've been a lot more sad
it's a clickbait
in my
title,
life.
all right? It's a clickbait title. That's the whole purpose. You got to get people hooked onto the shit. You got to get them addicted. But all seriousness though, I can kind of relate to you really well. Last week I had
Sigh it out.
Yeah.
Everyone take a big breath and let it out.
Fuck the man! I got sick last week. And on top of that, it became very realistic that my job was no longer practical. I had a breakdown, like a full-on mental breakdown. And this Saturday, I put in my notice. Today's Tuesday when we're recording this, but this is going out actually the next Tuesday. Hey!
David said deuces.
Yeah. So this is my last day, and I'm going to be starting my new job on Thursday.
It's your last day? I didn't know that. That's kind of funny. So you're really saying fuck you to him.
I'd rather spend the time doing this with you right now, and then I can go deal with them afterwards.
Thank you. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. I went to physical therapy, and I felt better before I went.
You always feel like shit after physical therapy. I told you this. We know this. Like we've both gone. Of course, it hurts.
My
you fucking stretch your leg, and they put your arms in sleeves, and they make you pull things.
I feel bad right now. Like I just kind of want to like put myself in a refrigerator and like chill until I go somewhere or something.
Oh damn!
Is there like an ice chamber, like an ice bath? That's what my body needs right now. I need to be numb. I'm so full of pain.
What's
does that sound good on the microphone, or is it terrifying?
My body.
I might as well sing with like my real voice. That's my fake singing voice where I'm like,
oh yeah,
more.
Well,
I feel like more is like a.
Well, you know this. You know that like you know that I can do like impressions, and like I've done like the Mario and Luigi. One of my favorite like things that Luigi does is like when he's like, "Oh no, I know," like he does like he does like the little one. Oh my god, he's hilarious. When Luigi like tries to talk, it's just always stupid.
I don't understand where the idea for Luigi's Haunted Mansion came from. Like,
I
Luigi
love it.
never had a mansion. Luigi never dealt with ghosts. This was never a thing. Where did it even pop up
I
from?
yeah,
Just like
I
all of a sudden, Luigi's a ghost fighter.
I
But
think
it's been a
they
long time now. It's been like 20 years almost, right?
yeah, it has been. I mean, there's been many versions of Luigi. I'm gonna actually check where the origin. Let me check.
Yeah, like
Where
where on earth did this come from? And
where
are they ghosts
did
that live in the plumbing or is it just straight up ghosts?
Mansion come from? So depending, there's a bunch of them. There's like a bunch of like boss ghosts, but they're all over the place. Like,
Yeah, they're not just in the pipes. So I don't know what this has to do with Luigi and how he became a ghost fighter. You know, we should really expand and say that
okay,
our podcast is kind of like nerd culture because it kind of is.
yeah, I mean, like that's kind of what stoner culture is, by the way.
It's a little nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So Luigi's Mansion is a huge ghost house constructed by the Boos. So if anybody doesn't know, Boo
Booze
is
as
that
in ghosts, not alcoholic drinks in bottles.
yeah, and Boo is the weird kind of like
Moo.
shape when it goes like "Yaha!" Like it has like fangs and like it closes its eyes when you look at it and then it kind of goes towards you when you look away.
You have to face it to make it stop. So every
Yes.
time you run, you turn around real quick.
Yeah,
You
because
run
they
real
follow
fast
you.
and then you turn around real quick. And
Yeah,
that's how
because
you
they
like get away. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
okay, I could see how the ghosts were kind of around like a long time before the haunted
oh
mansion.
this is getting interesting. Okay. Luigi's first encounters is in the Nintendo GameCube game of the same name. Luigi wins the mansion in a contest that he did not even enter. When he gets there, Luigi finds out that the mansion is haunted and that Mario has been kidnapped. So, yeah, that's the origin of Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I guess I remember the ghosts like in the castle and like the whole ghost concept.
It's just the thing about it is that like Boo and King Boo were not new characters by the time Luigi's Mansion came out. It's very weird. Like ever since Luigi's Mansion came out, like Luigi has like had to have his own like fandom pay, like his own fandom. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think they needed that as a company. They needed to like, okay, we've done all this Mario stuff, but like let's do a Luigi thing, you know? And I think it was a good idea, right?
it was. I mean, the only thing is like when you look at other characters like Wario or like Waluigi, they're like
They don't have
spin-offs.
their whole game, their own
There
game.
there are
Yeah.
games based off of Wario that are absolutely amazing. Like the Wario game was phenomenal. It came out, I believe, in the 80s or the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. But the Waluigi, I think, which was in Mario Party, I forgot which one it was. Waluigi has always stunk. He's just a horrible character.
Which one is he? Is he the tall, skinny one?
Tall, skinny one. Waluigi is the opposite of Luigi, and then Wario is Mario, but
Yeah.
fatter. Yeah,
The fatter.
the fatter Mario. Yeah, literally. Oh my god.
Which implies that Mario is fat.
Mario is fat.
I'm just gonna let that simmer.
And Luigi's not skinny either. I mean, but Luigi is definitely slimmer than Mario. I love how we're comparing fictional characters. Wait, this is
Okay,
awesome.
so you got a new job?
I actually did check this. Wario, it's called Wario Land, and it came out on the Game Boy.
Oh, Game Boy, eh? Game Boys were really fun.
They were.
I think
I don't know
that's
if
how
you.
people feel about their Switchies.
Hmm?
I think that's how people feel about their Switch.
Yeah, to be honest, like the Switch was kind of like a cry out for what Nintendo gave us, which was called a Wii U. Do you remember the Wii U?
I remember the Wii. I
Okay.
don't remember it having the word U attached to it.
Well, you're lucky then, because there was a version called the Wii U where they tried to make the Wii, but with a tablet. It was like $400, and it was a piece of shit, and it was terrible, and we all hated it for years, and Nintendo refused to get rid of it. And then they finally did, and they gave us a version that they should have given us at the very beginning. And you were like, what the fuck?
Do you think that Nintendo is less violent?
It depends on which game.
Like,
But
what is Nintendo's most violent game? Doesn't Nintendo have Mortal Kombat?
I believe so.
Mortal Kombat's like one of the most violent ones there is. It's just different than like first-hand shooter, like shoot 'em up, violent video games. Mortal Kombat's like, I don't know, it's just always been around.
Does Nintendo have any violent games? Some of these games depict violence or criminal activity are not so.
Thank you for waiting while we do our research mid-podcast.
It doesn't.
I bet the people listening know the answers to our questions.
I don't
They're
believe
like,
so.
fucking...
No, I don't believe so. I mean, Nintendo has never really been
right. Something
I
to
mean,
consider. The fact that they were able to still like last for so long and have such a big fandom, and they never really needed much violence. No blood, just squish.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. When you throw a blue like spike ball in Mario Kart and you smash it against somebody's head, you definitely are not killing the player.
No, it's like, remember in Mario Kart when like you get ran over and you turn into paper and then you like float down? It's actually kind of fun, like to have just this silly kind of unrealistic like, oh, you're paper. Boing, now you're back to normal. Or like when you fall off of a cliff, they get like a fishing pole and pull you back up. Like it's really silly and kind of fun, you know? Like you don't have to watch like, then my head split open and the game was over, you know? Like it's kind of, for me it's a little more relaxing. Like I don't have that intensity of like the death and the violence, but I feel like maybe like some people find that kind of like a release or something, like when the character dies. I don't really, or I don't know, they like getting into it that much or something, but like I think that
They're
I
like
kind
a
of like the
code.
Nintendo version of video gaming is a little bit more my jam.
Well, I mean, Nintendo has always kind of been very much family oriented, sorry. You know, like even going back 20, 30 years ago. And the thing about like Nintendo at its heart, like you don't expect these games to have like realistic graphics. This is the thing about like
Yeah, it's
Nintendo.
more playful.
Correct. Like they don't have to like have, like GTA, whatever the fuck they have these days, 5 or
It's
6. I
more
don't even give a I don't
fantasy.
yeah,
It's more made
Final
up, like
Fantasy.
they're, well, I'm saying Nintendo is more of like a fantasy world than like recreating a realistic world. You
Oh,
know
I thought
what
you
I
were talking about
mean?
Final Fantasy, but never mind.
Well, yeah, Final Fantasy is an example of where they kind of recreated a realistic world where people die in a realistic way and you're in like a, you know,
You die a very realistic way.
that's what I'm saying is that, like obviously games like Yoshi's Story, it's all just fantasy. It's all just kind of like silly, like made up. And it's just a very, very different style of video gaming. Like to be in a place that isn't symbolizing like Earth, like the world that we live in.
No, it's Nintendo World.
Yeah, I mean, some games there's like kind of like an in between, where it's like, oh yeah, it's a first hand shooter game, it's really violent or whatever, but then like it takes place like in an unrealistic world, but there's still
Fallout, yeah, like Fallout, for
more,
example.
yeah, but it's a little bit more realistic, obviously, than like Mario Land, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you played Fallout, it's kind of like in a different era that doesn't really exist anymore. But yeah, I do get your point. I think because Fallout takes place in like the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, or 50s or 60s.
It gives it like an artistic theme, by being in that time period. Like it gives it a look, which is kind of neat. I don't know. They always have a lot of like in the Mario stuff, they always do like a lot of like exterior. Like there's always like a lot of clouds and grass and trees. Like they do a lot of outdoor like landscape in the
Yeah,
video games.
but the outside landscape, like even in Mario Kart, always looks fake.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's fake as fuck. It's like a coloring book or something. It's not supposed to look real. It never did.
I
I
love how
don't
you
know.
compared it to a coloring book. Oh
That
my
is what it
god!
looks like. It
I
looks
know
like a
it does.
cartoon, like
I
a
know it
coloring book.
does. My
Yeah.
god!
It's like
Even
a
like when they,
cartoon. Yeah, computerized cartoon. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, it technically is a computerized cartoon. But I mean, like, it's just, I guess what you can say is, maybe nerdy or whatever. But I've always been into Nintendo, even since like I was a kid. It's like always kind of been like my way to play video games and understand that like it's not real, but at the same time still like, get into it, It's like I play fucking
Yeah.
Yoshi. Like you don't when I play, like when I'm playing Mario Kart, it's like nobody plays Yoshi except me.
You
And
get
if you
over there like
do,
real fast before anyone else.
and I've had times where people have taken Yoshi, and you know what I do? I bully them the whole 4 courses. I will make sure to like break and be behind them so I can hit them with a red shell. I don't even care about winning.
You're like, I'll just screw it up for you because you took my Yoshi. And then they just don't take your Yoshi anymore. Is that the whole point?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. I'm old.
No, you're not. Get the fuck out of here. You're, you're young and you're full of life.
Yeah. We're going to buy the extended stuff for the Mario Kart game so that we can play the rubber ducky thing.
I told you.
But
Oh my god, it's so fun. So there's a secret level in the rubber ducky level. You have to find it. You guys have to you have to go all the way up, and if you don't get that part, you're going to lose. I didn't know this, but if you don't get there, your chances of winning the race is like it's not even 50%. Like you have like a
I feel like
forty-three
such a
percent
kid.
chance.
It's honestly like not to brag or anything, but it's kind of really fun not to have any children in your 30s. Like the fact that I can just sit around on a Sunday and just play like Mario Kart like with my significant other is like ridiculous. Like everybody else is like miserable and they're all like going to these like games that their kids have and they're like exhausted and they're running like last minute errands all over the place and everybody's mad at each other and it's just
Karissa's
like
playing Mario Kart at home in the living room with her boyfriend.
yeah, smoking bowls. Like I was like, is this like I'm starting to realize like, okay, like I did all right in life. Like it's starting to feel like, oh, like I don't know. Maybe I didn't make a long series of mistakes.
You know something, even though like I'm 25, and one thing I've started learning is resiliency, is the fact that like my dad allowed everybody to step all over him and use him and steal from him, and I don't allow that. When somebody uses me, when somebody is supposed to, be responsible for whatever the case may be, I feel like I've gotten to that point where I'm strong enough to fight back and say, no, I'm not going to let you do that. And I feel like in your case, it's not saying that you don't want to have kids. You're not saying that, right?
I'm just saying, like, I worry about if I worry about how on earth other people do it. Like, and I worry about how people manage all of it. And I kind of think it's like a little bit like unfair, like how hard it is to have time to relax and also have a family and also work and also maintain a relationship and like all these
It's a
things, like
lot.
I just kind of, to me, just looking at it from an outside perspective, not really sure if it is an actual like reasonable thing for it to consider it to be possible. Like it's almost like a recipe for disaster. Like it's like you don't look at all those different things that go into it and say like, yes, like I look at all of it and I say, ooh, that's a lot. And like I don't know, it's just like hard. I watch other people like over invest themselves, over exert themselves with like all these family responsibilities of like having children. And to me, it seems like like the world has definitely asked way too much of parents. And it's just like, ew. Because I feel like way too much was asked of me and my parents too, you know?
I I think there's more of a common understanding these days, where you have to live your life and you have to be able to understand that not always what the other person is going to have is what you're going to have. And that's the case with a lot of things, not just children, having family and life partner and a job. We all have lots of responsibilities on our shoulders, but those are our responsibilities. Those are your responsibilities.
Yeah, it's just I don't even have a family to care for, and I feel like I get maybe like 4 hours out of an entire week to like relax, and it's just like I have no idea how anyone is raising kids. Like I'm just like, what? Like I imagine I
Uh,
understand why they're at school full time and why, like, I mean, it's just I don't get it. Whatever.
you don't
Seems
have kids, so
pretty.
you don't have to worry about this right now, honey.
Just saying.
I
It
know.
scares me. It's okay. I guess talking about video games, like I really enjoy playing video games as an adult. Like, and I didn't really notice that. But like it wasn't as rewarding to me when I was in my like early 20s. Like I didn't really care. But it's like now that I've gotten like so much older, it's like I kind of like something to bring me back to like when I was younger. But in the middle, I found it kind of like a waste of time. Like, I want to get out. I want to do things. I want to meet people, was kind of more my vibe. But it doesn't bother me as much anymore to kind of just like chill, especially with like the environment that I'm in now, where it's like freezing cold outside and nobody socializes, anyways.
It's kind of the case here in South Florida. I mean, it's pretty freezing outside, and people. It's interesting. People socialize more indoors, for sure. I kind of feel that way. Like I used to. I've always had like a love and hate relationship with video games, because like the thing is like those people like shit. They criticize you, or they like, oh, you're playing video games, Are you like one of those? And I'm like, yeah, I am one of those. Do you got a problem with that? I don't,
I
like,
just think like as long as like you're still kind of like exposing yourself to like a well-rounded amount of things. Like it's never good to just like only just do one thing all the time. Like you kind of need to have a
no,
little bit of balance. So like
right?
I think it's fine as long as people don't like overdo it.
Sorry.
I mean my ex was like at the point where like he like never did anything because all he did was play video games. And like I feel like I've seen that pattern a lot with like men in general where like it's kind of just like their default with like their spare time, so then like not a lot else happens. and it's like not really fun like to be around.
So what you're saying is men are boring.
I'm saying that when people only have one interest and one interest only, it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's best to kind of like, I mean, you play guitar, you have a podcast, yeah, you have your cat, you're creative, you do artwork, like you're not only video gaming. Like,
I mean,
but I do think like doing one thing all the time kind of makes somebody boring. Like I feel a little bit more boring just doing my job 24/7. Like I said, there's not a lot for me to talk about sometimes. Like I'm like, "Oh, I do nothing with my mind other than work." So like, I'm not very entertaining.
that's kind of the reason, by the way, like I went back into the food industry. Specifically, like in my case now, it's more with the local breweries out here in South Florida. Because you are forced to be in a creative space.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you're dealing with small businesses, sometimes in cases like they have investors, people have like partners that will come together and go to different warehouse districts and establishments like in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, North Miami, and build these establishments. And like the thing that I feel that I've kind of been missing the most is that creativity, having that control. But sometimes you have to like also understand that not always you're going to have that ability to like always think creatively, like always be in that type of environment. Sometimes you're going to have to be in an environment that sucks,
Yeah.
or is boring.
It's just like, how long do I have to be bored and
Or
uncomfortable?
yeah.
Yeah, poor. How long do I have to be poor?
Long time.
Is poor subjective? Maybe.
Poor is objective. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll take it.
I don't know. It's poor. Yeah. Is this a portion of the podcast where we talk about money?
I have exactly $78.49 to my name.
Fuck.
That's all I have.
And
then a few days before that, I had somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.82.
Whoa. I've been there, dude.
Mm-hmm. And again, like I'm not going to talk in detail, but you kind of know why I'm in this situation.
Oh yeah, you don't want to tell people why.
No.
It's not your fault.
No, it's not 100. It's not my fault. I mean, see, that's also the thing about, damn, this weed is good.
Dude, I wish I could like share. My thingy is like out. See the emptiness? Empty.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just keep kind of like smoking fumes.
It's not good. Not good. So when you have, for example, like we've talked about this before, even when you have like a friendship or a connection, the thing about like open communication is it's not only open communication, there's also honest communication. Where when you tell me something and you're being open about it, right? It's not where like you're beating around the bush.
Yeah.
You're just hiding a little few details. You're not telling me something that you're afraid you don't want me to know.
Well, that's what open communication is like telling the thing that you're afraid of telling. I feel like it takes a lot of vulnerability. Like big time. Like you have to like admit your fears and what you're afraid of and
Tears
what
and fears.
If you're gonna like be
Just
open with
shout
somebody, you
and
kind of gotta
let
like
it all
expose
out.
yourself a little, and
These
people don't
are
realize
the
the
things
extent of it.
Come on.
I don't
I'm
know.
talking to you.
I don't think it's that easy to be, like, that vulnerable with somebody that you just met. Like, I think it takes a while. Like, you gotta, like, build that comfortability with somebody before you can just have open communication with them. Like, people get into relationships and they think, like, right at the beginning, like, I want open communication. It's like, all right, well, it takes a level of comfortability that we build with each other, and then we can start openly communicating. But like, you have to have open communication in mind for that to happen. But it's really not that easy to like tell somebody like little things that you're afraid of or stuff that, you're afraid to be open about at the beginning. That's when it's hard. And so at the beginning you might kind of beat around the bush a little because you're trying to like see like how accepting is this person, how much of myself can I expose, how vulnerable can I be with you you know
When like I recently went on a date. I like think it was like last week or whatever. And it was very strange because when you're like you were saying, you have to like be able to like understand that like you're giving over like your fears and how you feel. And it's scary. You don't really know this person. Like they're a total stranger. Like you've never met them before in your life. And just to like be like that vulnerable, and be that open, to be like, yeah, I did this and this and this, or yeah, I had like a raw metal rod shoved up my ass when I was 15. I don't know. Okay.
yeah, I only make this much money.
Or yeah, I have like these type of medical conditions, so you might find it to be gross. Or
Yeah, I have an eating disorder.
yeah, I haven't had a car in like 5 years.
Yeah, I live with my mom.
Or, yeah, I kind of live on a farm with like 17 horses. You got
That's
to
a big.
keep this going.
I was gonna come up with real ones that like people can't really guess if they're real or not, but
Oh,
that one like
yeah, my family does consist of 14 siblings.
oh.
Yeah, I do have an identical twin.
No one knows if it's true or not.
You never know. You could be dating the
Um,
identical twin and you would never know it.
oh shit. You're saying
Mm-hmm.
you have like a lost identical twin?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm being really, really ADD right now. Did I ever tell you about I told you about my fascination with the Jeep the Jeeps and the ducks? I've told you about the Jeeps and the ducks, right?
You mean like a Jeep Wrangler?
Yes, and a rubber ducky. Have I told you about how these two things go together?
I'm okay. I'm listening.
Have you noticed that, like, do you ever see rubber duckies at Jeeps? Have I told you about my obsession with the rubber duckies and the Jeeps?
No.
Oh. This is like okay, so when I was down in Florida, there's, like, a lot of people from the East Coast, like, because Florida's East Coast, but I'm saying, like, Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
There was a woman in Canada, maybe, like 2017, and she was kind of like semi-influencer. I don't know what her name is, or people kind of knew who she was or whatever, but she had like an online presence, and she had bought a bag of rubber duckies from like a grocery store or something. And she had a Jeep and she saw a fellow Jeep. And so she put a rubber ducky on the Jeep as like a gift. And then, like, somehow it got in, like, the New York Times Magazine or some shit, like, honestly. And then all of a sudden, people started, like, ducking each other with Jeep Wranglers. So it became, like, a thing where you take a rubber ducky and you put it on a Jeep Wrangler, and then when the person comes to get into their car, they find the rubber ducky and they put the rubber ducky on their dash, and then it's like a badge of honor. And so these people, some of them have, two rubber duckies because they've been ducked twice. Some people have gotten so many ducks that they have like 5 or 6 ducks on the dashboard of their Jeep
This
but
is insane.
it's like a thing.
This
It's
is
like
insane. This is so Florida. Do you understand this? Okay, this is why this state is full of insane people. Okay, because
it's
people are.
traveled all the way down the coast, and now I have seen some in Iowa. So I bought rubber duckies at Target
Oh
and
my
Dollar
god.
General and the Dollar Tree, and I don't have a Jeep, but I have been ducking on other Jeeps. I don't know if this is allowed. I think only Jeeps are supposed to duck Jeeps, but I'm poor and I don't have a Jeep and I still want to participate. And so I just collect rubber duckies in general now. I've been building a rubber ducky collection. I have a rubber ducky that looks like a Christmas tree, a rubber ducky that looks like a moose, a rubber ducky that looks like a princess, a rubber ducky that looks like a unicorn.
there
I have one
are
that looks like
there are
a ice cream cone.
thousands. There's
Yeah,
thousands of
rubber duckies,
combinations.
it's insane. Like there's like a rubber ducky store like in like Atlanta, Georgia or something where
What?
it's just a fucking store of just rubber duckies, like of every type of rubber ducky doing everything, like a tennis rubber ducky, a football rubber ducky, a bride rubber ducky, like a rubber ducky that looks like the Muppets. Like
Okay,
it's
guys, we're
just like
finishing up the podcast. Chris is heading to the airport. I'm heading to the airport. We're going to Atlanta, Georgia. We'll see you in a few
I
weeks.
want to go to the rubber ducky store. Like, are you kidding me? Because like, okay, when I first found my rubber duckies, I found them at Target, and these were kind of like Valentine's rubber duckies because it's like Valentine's
Oh, the
time.
pink one. Did it have a pink one?
Yeah, there's like a rubber ducky that I think it has like hearts on it. It has like red lips and like a ponytail or something. I
Ooh.
put it like a pink, like it's not a ponytail, but I guess ponytail's the right name because it looks like it's okay. You know how horses, like unicorns, like they have like tails. They made the duck tail look like a horse tail. It's like really cute. I don't know, but yes, I've been obsessed with rubber duckies recently. I went out and I got like a bag of rubber duckies and I've been like ducking Jeeps. And I
Successful?
was at my doctor's office like 2 weeks ago, or like maybe even last week. I was at my doctor's office. And when I was in the parking lot, I saw two Jeeps like sitting there. And one of them I looked at and I was like, I bet that's like an employee because like that car was here when I got here and I had 2 appointments, so I was here, like, forever, and the car was still there. So I'm thinking, like, that employee is probably here for, like, really long hours. How cute would it be if they came out to their car at the end of the day and there's, like, a pink duck? And I, like it's so funny because 'cause I'll look at the Jeeps and be like, "Do they want, like" because I have pink ducks or I have blue ducks, and I'm always like, "I don't know which one they want," you know? So I kinda look at their other ducks and see, like, what type they like, and then I'll decide if they should get, like, a pink duck or a blue duck.
Well, how do you know that those ducks were? I mean, those were chosen by other people.
Yeah, they gave them to them, but they still choose to put them in their dash or not. Like, just because someone gives you a duck doesn't mean you have to like, I mean, if somebody gave me a satanic duck, I'm not gonna put it up there.
I mean, I would.
There's gotta be a satanic duck. I mean, that duck store's gotta
Has
have,
to.
like, every weird ass, like,
Can
Halloween
people start
ducks.
doing ducking with Mustangs or something?
Yeah, you're like,
Could-
"Can't we just duck with all cars and all cars have ducks on them
Okay,
from now on?"
no.
Just Mustangs.
Okay, first
Why
off,
is it a Jeep thing? Is it because it's a four-letter word? Like, why? Like, I don't know why we started putting ducks on
okay, you know
Jeeps.
what? We've got Google. Actually, this is my new phone, by the way.
There's an article. I read the article because I was so curious about how it happened, and that's what I told you, that lady in Canada started it, but I don't know.
That doesn't like. Can I be
You
honest?
can still put a duck in your dash. No one's gonna tell you you can't.
It's just like it's just weird. You know what I mean? It's just like a. I will say this: there are people that will buy cars, and then there are people that will buy a Wrangler or a Mustang or a Camaro or a Corvette. I want to and
Break free.
I have to turn this thing off. My mom You know, by the way, my mom has gone onto the record of calling me pretty much every single podcast interview.
No, at least she
an
didn't walk
American.
in and just stand in the background.
Oh yeah, that has happened.
So is mine.
Yes, indeed.
But you didn't like address her. You weren't like, get out of here. You just like let her stand back there while we talked.
It's actually, I checked the recording. She was not in there at all.
Oh, it like cut out? It cut her out? That's hilarious.
So
did you cut her out, or did the computer system just do it?
Fuck, I wasn't saying anything when she was standing there.
So it just skips over it. That's great. It's too funny though.
You now made me forget what I was saying.
No, we were talking about ducks and shit.
Oh yeah, so I was talking about like how like when you're dealing with a Wrangler, you know, the same when like you deal with a Mustang, it's like nobody says like, hey man, like let's go hang out with our Odysseys, you know, or you know, let's go hang out with our Camrys, you know, or like, you know, it's the Civic Club.
But you're saying that people do it with Wranglers? They're like, this is my Wrangler club?
Yeah, well, yeah, like a Wrangler is a car that like when you have a Jeep,
you're a Jeep owner.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Mustangs are too, though, right? All the Mustangs. Same with Corvettes. Corvette people are like, I'm a Corvette person.
And then there are Camaro people.
Yeah, well, you know, to each their own.
No, no, don't you dare. Okay?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck, honestly.
I'd give a flying fuck. Camaros.
Car's a car, but honestly, anybody who buys a dumb car when they could buy a good car, kind of dumb.
I know. I mean, because like if you think about it, like Camaro has like 5 cubic feet less than a Mustang, and it's harder to get shit in there. And the car is more narrow, so you have less space in the interior. And it's like, it's just not a practical muscle car anymore. You know, like if they had the Camaro and like maybe like a Pontiac Trans Am or something like that, then maybe like we can justify it. But like at this point, it's just no. I can't justify it anymore. No. You can't respond because you're not a car person, so it's okay.
It's so pathetic. Like, I'm like, that's what she said.
Okay, I will give you permission to talk on behalf of Mustangs because I am a Mustang owner. I do, like I said before, I feel like Mustangs are way more reliable, way more practical, they're way more efficient, and they're actually cheaper to fix than Camaros. Way cheaper. My brakes are cheaper, my rotors are cheaper, like everything is cheaper. It's crazy, and like they're both American-made cars. So yeah.
I'm so shitty at cars. Like, I'm like, yeah, gas prices are, yeah.
What about gas prices, Karissa?
Oh, I know nothing about cars. Like, I'm like, yeah.
Do you have any questions as a non-car person?
As a non-car person, no. I think that cars need a lot of repairs.
Depends on the brand and make and model.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's kind of pathetic. Other than that, nope. I don't know. I wish my car would get warm faster. I want to get a Toyota CHR.
They discontinued it.
I know. I want to get a used one. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because I was like, it's discontinued, but I'm going to buy a used car anyways. So I've been looking at is there any reason not to get it because it's discontinued? I mean, I think it'd be fine. I was going to get like a 2019, maybe.
There's two factors to keep in mind. One, the engine is like a slug, so it's not fast by any means. Two, it's not the greatest on fuel. It averages about like the same fuel.
There's some that are like hybrid-y.
I'm like one of those people that if you want to go a hybrid, honestly, go with a Honda.
Yeah, but I've had such a good luck with Toyota. I've had
Yeah,
my
but
Toyota for like 20 years.
I understand that. The only thing about Toyota is that their hybrid motors, they break sooner than Toyota's does. Not sorry, Toyota's hybrid motors break sooner than Honda's does.
So you think I should look at like a Honda hybrid?
I would probably tell you look at probably like a Honda CRV.
Yeah, I like those. I
They're
really do.
they're really like they're practical cars. They heat up real quick. They're great in the snow if you get all-wheel drive. I believe.
Is that like Honda's equivalent of like a, what do you call it? A RAV4? What's Honda's equivalent of a RAV4?
Would be the CRV.
Yeah, that's what I want, man.
Let's see. I'm
Got
almost
me
pot.
rolling.
Dun, dun, dun.
Riding dirty. Yeah, that's me in my car. I did such a terrible job at that.
No, my
We're gonna
car.
blame my sobriety, okay?
My car honestly like is a Mustang. So like you hear dirty deeds, dirty deeds. I always have ACD in my car. ACDC full on blast. Like you'll have somebody like blasting Haitian music, like like just like full on, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just put ACDC just a little higher, just a little, just
I don't ever really like.
You don't
I
like
don't ever really.
ACDC?
No, I do. I like ACDC. I was just gonna say that I don't ever like blast music like I used to.
Uh, I only do it to piss off
Yeah.
others that are pissing off me. Again, I'm a New Yorker by heart, so it's the rules. This is the way, Karissa. This is the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had like an urge to like play music loudly in like a long time.
We need to get you to more raves.
Dude, I would go. I told last episode I talked about all the different concert tickets that I bought.
Oh, I know.
And
Yeah.
so my summer I have like at least like one band to go see each month, which is really cool, and at least I get to like look forward to this summer. Dude, I'm going to South Carolina and then I'm going to Chicago.
When?
In the month of March. I'm going to 2 like bridal shows for my job, and we go there and we look at like all of the new stock, and then we pick out new dresses that are going to be like our stock. So it's like Sunday and Monday, like 2 different weekends in March. So I feel like March is just going to like fly by for me because I'm not going to have any like personal time. And I'm just going to be at work like 24/7 and also traveling.
Yeah, you're going to be traveling. Like they're going to be paying for your airplane flight, you know?
They did. They paid for my flights and they picked the worst times ever. Like we have to be at the airport at like 5:40. Well, we board at like 5:40 in the morning.
Oh, no.
Isn't that hell on earth? I was like, I'd rather buy
No.
my own ticket or just not go at all. Like,
do you understand? Like, how far's the airport from you?
It's not that far, but it's like, yeah, I gotta get up at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
At least.
And then they want me to work all day long. And it's like, no, fuck you guys. 7 p.m., I'm going to bed. I'm going to the hotel room and I'm saying that was a great day. Like, we're not going all night looking at doing no.
Why do they pick such an early flight?
Probably because it's the cheapest one. I was just like, whoa, like, okay. Like, that's.
Are you all on the same flight?
Yeah, it's honestly physically difficult for me. Like, I get really nauseous that early in the morning, and I'm gonna have to, like, get to go to sleep, like, very early Saturday night, like, ooh, and I work that whole Saturday? Like, no. Like, when am I supposed to pack? Like, that's just crazy
at
town.
1 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah, no. I was like, no, this is crazy. Like, why are we doing this? I don't know. It's hard when other people like choose when you wake up. Like, I'm like, no. I choose when I wake up, okay?
Yeah, you didn't ask me. You just decided.
Yeah, I didn't know. They didn't even ask me if I could go on the trip or not. They just like started buying my tickets. I was like, okay, I guess that's how this works. Like, I don't know. There's probably other people who like they travel for work. The work doesn't always ask them if, they can do the flights or not. I was just like, ugh.
I don't know. I'm like one of those people that I'm kind of hesitant to work for a place that offers traveling.
I haven't had a job that has me travel around other than working in the makeup industry, like as freelance. So they have you go to different locations, and some of them are kind of far away. Like I've flown to different places or traveled for work for nannying. But otherwise, I haven't had a lot of jobs ask me to like, do stuff like that, like fly somewhere for work. I've flown for makeup, for some weddings or movies or different stuff like that. But yeah, no, this is different. And then I'm like with them the whole time too. I'm gonna have to like really keep myself up. And then it's like I'm gonna have to like I don't know.
Don't drink too many Mai Tais or margaritas or
I want
martinis.
to.
You're probably going to have to keep up with them.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how do I maintain it for like 2 full days? Like I know how to do like one day, but then I don't know how to like recover. I don't know.
I hope you have separate hotel rooms. Wouldn't it be
No.
hilarious if your boss was like, okay, we only have one hotel room, Karissa?
Yeah, it's 2 people to a room, so we each get our own bed. But they split all the coworkers, because we're all female. They put like 2 in a room.
Wait
So
a
we
minute.
each get like our queen bed
The whole like staff is coming?
for whoever out of the staff that is coming. Yeah.
They fly the whole staff?
No, I think there's probably just about like 4 of us going, possibly 5.
Good luck.
It'll be an adventure. It's something I've never done before. Like, I don't think I have to do it like all the time. But it'll be a good learning experience for me to kinda, like, see what it's like, and then hopefully it'll create, like, a little bit of, like, inspiration and, like, ideas in myself. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you got going on this weekend? All I have is work. Just a lot of fucking work and
Yeah,
work
same thing.
stuff.
Same thing. I'm
Yeah.
starting my new job. I had an interview with them yesterday, and
What do you think of their menu?
for Uncommon Path.
Yeah.
They're an incredible brewery. They got a lot of stouts and imperials. I love stouts. Like stouts are like one of my favorite type of beers. And their food menu is like very simple. Just very, very simple. I think it's pizzas, salads, and wings. So, and it's in a great area too. Like it's 15 minutes away from my house.
I like wings.
I love me some wings, I know. And they got like all these like fun and funky flavors, and they're constantly like coming up with new things.
Like, what kinda wing flavors? I love it when people do, like a garlic something or other? Like, I love that, like a honey garlic,
Yeah,
lemon
so I think he told me that they do like
there's, like, a lemon herb that's, like, really tasty. What sometimes people do, like, a Cajun or
they've done some interesting I'm checking their website right now.
dry rub is interesting. When I went down to St. Louis, there was a lot of, like, dry rub, and, like, it's just, like, so different to not have, like, a wing that's, like, wet. It's, like, just, like, all, like, dry and, like, seasoned. Like, I'm used to, like, ribs and wings being, like, slimy because of all the sauce, but then the dry rub is, like there's, like, all this flavor, but then it's, like, the texture's so different, but it is tasty. It's just different.
Yeah, so they do their wings. I'm checking their website, oven roasted. I think they have
Hey.
sweet Thai chili, cherry pepper, and
Mm.
Japanese barbecue. But I believe they
Mm.
have other flavors besides what's mentioned over here. But yeah, by the way, oven roasted wings is the shit because like oven roasted is where you put in a very high temperature oven. So an oven that, can go up to like even like 800 degrees. 800 degrees. I'm going to say that one more time. 800 degrees.
I mean, I don't really know. Like, I know that when I cook at home, it's like the hottest my oven ever goes is like 425. So, like, I would imagine that my oven at my house doesn't have the capacity to go that high, right?
No. So, for example, like when people do like grilling, for example, grilling, or if you use like a stone oven or like brick
What you
oven.
mean, like when I like use like my outdoor grill? That gets a lot hotter? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there are ovens that do get hotter. Yeah,
You like
generally.
close the lid and it
Yeah.
heats up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I believe some of those ovens can get up to like 600 to 700 degrees. But I'm just telling you, like, there's just something about like oven, like fire roasted meat and like poultry, especially like
Yeah.
wings and steaks and shit. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I think it like creates like a fluffier like consistency. Like maybe it has something to do with like when things are baked, like it kind of like bakes like air into it, like where it gives it like more of like a
Crispy
crunch when
skin.
you bite instead of like a stretch, you know?
Hmm.
In like a good way. Yeah, I know. Now I'm gonna be like all hungry and shit.
I haven't really eaten real food in a few days.
Yeah, right? I just like
And
sit here and talk about food forever. I was looking at like the Chinese restaurant that I'm gonna order from tomorrow
how
and
is the
like go
Chinese
pick
food
up.
out in Iowa?
It can be really good. Like we have a lot of different generations, that have been here for like a while, like Chinese, Vietnamese, and I feel like they established some really solid restaurants. So like there are some like really really go-to places. And then there's some other stuff that I've seen like pop up that I don't really know like who owns it, like, you know. But there's some that like have been around forever. But this there used to be one that we used to go to down in the Valley Junction, and it had like a name. It was like I don't know. I don't know. And so then I looked it up, and there's another Chinese place like in its place. And I looked at its menu and it looks like authentic, but who knows? But it's like the same style of Chinese restaurant as the old one. It was very like formal. There's some Chinese restaurants where you eat like you do in China, which everything comes out in like large portions, and a lot of time there's a spinning wheel in the middle of the table like a dolly, and all of the large portions go in the middle and the middle spins around. I've seen that done with different cultures, but there used to be like a really really fancy Chinese restaurant that got shut down. We went to for my grandfather's like visitation dinner, and that I remember that's how they did it.
Visitation dinner?
Hey, you're Jewish, you don't understand.
I don't know what
It
that
was
is.
like it was the dinner that the whole family went to after the funeral visitation. And then the next day there's a funeral, and you have an actual like everybody gets together and eats together that was at the funeral. But after the visitation, it's like people just split up and go home, but some people will like stay together and have like a meal together, and it's usually like something special. Cuz we don't have
You Christians
what
fascinate
satyrs.
me.
We're just like we want to spend time together and like eat, It's kind of like a rehearsal dinner.
In a way, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because when you talk about Chinese food, especially like when you go from like the West Coast, no offense, like I've been in LA, the Chinese food is
No,
It's not great. LA does not have great Chinese food.
I had really good wok. Oh, I've had really good pho. I've had really good ramen. I've had really good certain cultures, Asian cultures. Their food translates good in LA.
But nothing compares.
Thai food.
Nothing
really
compares to New York. Nothing compares to American Chinese food out of New York. Like it.
I had Chinese food in Paris and it was great.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about this off the air.
Why?
No, I'm kidding.
It's time for you to go.
I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes. Yeah, I've got to go into the gotta go into work. People know what that is these days.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, someone around them does.
This is probably going to be an interesting few weeks. I'm on antibiotics currently. I'm going to be finished in a few days. And the end of this week is going to be 2 weeks off of nicotine. And then I just have 2 more weeks for the withdrawal symptoms to be completely away.
Yeah. David's trying to quit.
I don't know why, but
money
and, to be honest, we're addictive species as it is. I have enough addictions I'm dealing with right now. So
I think you should just kind of cut back a little. I think it's too hard to completely quit. But
I mean, I've lasted over a week. So
ooh, wow. That
it's like a week and a half.
Yeah.
So
good job though.
It's been since Tuesday.
Wow.
Of last week, so it's been a week.
Kind of explains the.
Yeah, I'm very aggravated, fuzzy. I can't think very clearly. I get nausea, hunger, the hungry. I already ate and I'm hungry. It makes no sense. So I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, because smoking takes care of food cravings.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm sorry, but good for you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I rather just have weed. I rather just, if I need to vape, this is it. You know what I mean? It's just a weed vape. Because this is way better for you than fucking nicotine. This shit.
You gotta get me one of those.
You have one of those.
I smoked it.
Oh. We can't talk about this on air, honey. We have to talk about this off the air. Anyway, speaking of off the air, do you want to wrap this up?
Oh. I
Okay.
wanted to make a joke, but I had no joke.
Oh, come on, Karissa. Damn it.
If I wrap it up, and I have to do it with a rap, hey, thanks for joining us today. I can't rap.
Yo,
so bad.
Thanks for joining American Groove. I can't rap either.
Yeah, I know. Join us next time, and I would need to rhyme with things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So maybe I could create a rap and I could do it next time at the end of the episode. But that sounds like a lot of effort. I honestly talk faster than I do rap, which is really strange. I could just talk rap. I don't know how people rap. It's quite strange.
It's a hard art form, but
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you want to check out more of Karissa, you know where to find her. She's at American Groove Pod. You can always send out a message on IG. Got any questions for the pod or want to learn some tea? And yeah, if you want to learn more about the podcast, you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, we love y'all, but we're gonna get the fuck out.
Go eat some food.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Have fun, people. Don't be too crazy. Bye!
Bye.
Fucking assholes.